Okay, Matthew,
Hey, good morning.
nice to see you again.
Yes, likewise.
I like your haircut.
Thank you.
So, lots has changed in your life recently, right? What's going on now?
Totally. Well, after the last interview, about a month after that, I was going downhill, not like anything too crazy, but I was just running out of money. Like I just financially was getting screwed. Like I didn't know how I was going to pay rent and stuff like that. It was just all catching up to me. It was the perfect storm, and I was just making it happen, going day by day pretty much. And then I got an email one day randomly from somebody that watches the channel. And she was a woman that lives in Colorado, and she doesn't really have any family left. I guess, people have passed away. She never had kids. She never got married. And so she kind of just does her own thing. And she inherited a lot of, or from what I understand, she inherited when her father passed away, and she's done well in her life in the healthcare field and stuff, and just had the resources to help me. And
she's done this before. You're not the first person from my channel that she's...
Right. Yeah, she tried to help somebody else, but they ran off, right?
Yeah, they had it handed to them on a silver platter.
Yeah.
And he just flaked, basically.
Right. And
could not accept it.
Totally, yeah. And I mean, it took me a couple days to reply to her, because I was like, there's the first part is, do I trust this person? Or is what they're saying true, And then the second part, do I deserve it? Because there's a lot of people that I feel there's tons of people that are way worse off than me, and it's like, well, maybe they deserve it more. But I talked to her, and I even said those things, and she said, well, some of those people, like, you don't know how much truth they're telling, and like how much they want help. And I think I've said it from the start, like, that I want to quit. Like, I would love to get away from this. And I've been as honest as I can be. Obviously I haven't told you that I was working at Trader Joe's before, but now I can say it. I don't care. I left that. I talked to her, and we set it up in probably a week. And I said, I will drop everything. I'll quit my jobs. Like, I'll leave. Like, I don't care about anything, and I'll go, because I was ready. And so we set it up, and I came down to SoCal. I went to a doctor. I'm in treatment. I'm on Suboxone currently. I got in a sober living place. And yeah, it's amazing. The first day I smoked my last bit at the airport right before I was going to get on the plane, obviously pre-TSA checkpoint. And then I went in, drank a few beers, like got on the plane, had rosé the whole way down. An hour flight, and that was my last hurrah. And so got off the plane, and I get off the plane, and these guys are picking me up. All of a sudden I got a camera in my face, and I'm like, what the hell? And so apparently these guys had some type of idea that I'm some type of famous because of the first video getting, a couple million views or whatever. And so they're asking me all these questions, and it was a little overwhelming, but like I said, I was still high and everything. So I was like, cool with it. But went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, we're going to help you out. And then that first night, I started coming down and was just useless, just laying around. And, it was overwhelming at first, being in a house with about 16 other guys that are all in different stages of recovery or coming out of jail or juvie, ankle monitors and all the different stories, gangs and stuff. It's a very mixed bag there. But the first night, like, I'm trying to sleep, and people are just being loud. Kids, young kids, 18, 19, up all night, talking, playing video games, and one guy's telling another guy he should change his name. His name's not good enough. And oh man, I just wanted to get up and be like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh man, but why would I do that the first day there? Cause problems? Of course not. So I just kept to myself, and we went to the doctor the next day, which I didn't want to. I wanted to just lay around. But they waited until I was ready for the Suboxone. They gave me this there's a company called Massimo, not the clothing company. That's what I thought it was, but it's apparently a healthcare company. Massimo, that has a device called the Bridge device that they hook up to your ear, and it's supposed to stop withdrawals in 10 minutes. But it's a blind study. It's a double-blind study, so the nurse doesn't know, and I don't know if you're getting the fake one or the real one. I got the fake one. So instead of, dealing with the withdrawals, I had to wait another hour, and then I'm going, this is not doing anything. They gave me a $50 Target gift card, so whatever. But yeah, so that didn't work. Then they gave me the Suboxone. I started feeling a little bit better, just not as much stomach pain, which is the worst part of the withdrawals. And I just slept in that doctor's office all day. And the first day I took 16 milligrams of Suboxone, 2 8-milligram strips. The second day I took it down to 12. And the third day I took it down to 8, because that's the bare minimum you have to do to qualify for I believe it's either the Sublocade or the Vivitrol shot. And so that's what I hope to do, because after a few weeks or a month of taking Suboxone, you are eligible to get this shot, which, from what I understand, you either get 1 or 2 once a month. Either the first one, people have said different things. I'll believe the doctor. I'll listen to what he says. Is that I guess the first shot's 100 milligrams and the second one's 300, and then you can just never take anything again, and it'll just slowly trail out of your system. I guess there was one guy that took it or got the shot, and like a year later he was still testing positive for it, so it was still in his system. And apparently you don't experience any withdrawals. Like there might be a day where you feel a little off or sweaty, but that's the goal, because while I love Suboxone, not like I loved heroin, I'm not getting high off of it, but I love it because I feel normal again. Like I'm not waiting for the dealer every day. I'm not spending $100 a day. I'm waking up at a normal time. Like it's great. And the crazy thing is, this whole time I was using, for 8 years, I forgot that I'm naturally energetic. I naturally have the drive to do things. And for the longest time I was using because I was like, oh, I need this to feel good and feel like I can do things. But it was just, I had gone so long by doing that I forgot how I normally was. So it's insane.
How long has it been that you've been on Suboxone?
It's been almost a month. It's like 25 days now that I've been clean.
Do you feel like you could function normally with the
job? Totally. I just got a job last week.
That's great.
Yeah, I do prepped meals and stuff, was helping out in the kitchen. And then just the last day I was there, the manager asked me if I wanted to be the quality control manager. So, it's great. Obviously I was always able to work and stuff, but it's nice not having to go run off to the bathroom 4 to 8 times over an 8-hour shift, and then if somebody says anything, you got to lie and say, oh, I got stomach problems or something. And, people don't want to argue with that. They believe you, but it's still a lie, and you're living a lie. And I mean, hiding in the bathroom and having to blow the smoke into wadded up toilet paper to absorb the smoke and different things like that. I was always very careful, but it's good to not have to do those things anymore, and to be honest with people, and my family and my friends and everything. Everybody really notices a big change, and I feel bad for lying all those years, but it's a good thing, that. Thank you. It's a great thing that I'm here, and I'm so thankful for the person that helped me out, and I know there's a lot of people that need help. I feel bad because sometimes I don't feel like, I feel like it was worth it, and that it was a good idea, and that she'd made the right decision. I just feel guilty because I know there's so many people that need help and have been through so much worse.
But being able to accept the help is key, because I've seen so many people whose, their stories break my heart, and I can't not help them.
Right.
So I'll do everything from getting them housing to getting them to rehab to buying them vehicles and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Totally.
And I see how they'll sabotage their own life.
Right. And
regardless of how much support I'm giving.
Yeah.
It's just they don't feel they deserve it, I think.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you can move forward and do this and feel good about it and accept it, accepting it's a big one.
Yeah.
Is super important.
For the first, I don't know, maybe 10 days or a couple weeks, they were having the manager of the house. There's a guy and his girlfriend that, watch over everything and make sure everybody follows the rules and everything. He was holding on to all the money that I had, all of it, not like I had a bunch, but just to make sure. And so over time, they realized they could trust me and stuff. And so now I've been able to have money, and I got a last paycheck from the lifeguarding job, and it was I owed a bunch of money from my phone bill that I had put off. And so I got this money, and it was so nice to go, okay, well, I got this chunk of money. I need to pay the phone bill. And that was it. Instead, if I was using, it would be like, well, I could probably screw off the phone bill for a few more days, and I could go get high.
It's amazing how scandalous drug addicts can be.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I'm naive, and I didn't realize how incredibly scandalous some of these people can be.
Right.
The lies that they'll tell.
And I tried never to get that deep, but there were times like at work where I would come up with a reason like I had to leave or something, stuff like that, or like tell people I was going somewhere else. But it was never like, hey, I'm going to watch your house, and they come back the next day and all their shit's gone. It was never anything like that. I just feel too guilty. But the money thing, I've had money in my pocket, and apparently where I'm staying, it's not the best neighborhood. It's not the worst either, but I could go around the corner to the liquor store, and there are guys posted up. Apparently this like main street, like you can get whatever all day. And I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even thought once like, oh, if I ask this guy, or maybe I could just do a little bit. And the one crazy thing is we went to some event the other night. That's the other thing about getting sober is, there's the whole 12 steps and recovery community, AA, NA, religion, Christianity, all that shit. And I am agnostic. I believe that there's something out there, but who am I to tell you what it is? People can't remember what they did last week half the time. So how could you tell me that for sure something that happened thousands of years ago? And then if you're telling me that's a fact, what are you going to tell Buddhists or Muslims that what they believe in is wrong? So that's my view, is that there's something, but who am I going to, I can't tell you. So there's been a lot of people like in the recovery community that want to tell me what I need to do and what's going to work for me, and that if I don't, I'm going to relapse in however many months, which is great. I guess, they're trying to care or whatever, but I think that can be counterproductive. I feel like there's a lot of people that get scared off. I've seen people go to AA and NA meetings and go use right after because they're so annoyed. There's been people in AA and NA that go kill themselves like a few months down the road, and they're clean and sober, but everybody's different, everybody's unique. So I don't think to shove something down a new person's throat especially is a great idea. But that's how some people are, and that's great. They don't have to talk to me anymore, and I don't have to talk to them. So, but I went to this event the other night, and it was like we got wrangled into it. Oh yeah, it's going to be like a party, there's food, sober party, and all this stuff, which there was. But what it was is we're going to go introduce you to these guys that have their little sober group, and they're going to preach to you and tell you their story and then try to get you to come to their events. So we went to this event, a little party at somebody's house. It's like a recovery house. And they had, live music and food and everything. But the one guy that I met there, he was the brother of the house manager's girlfriend. And, he's just a cool guy. He's like a month sober, and met him. He seemed great. And then a couple nights later, there was like a Sublime tribute show, which, I'm not a big Sublime fan or anything, but it was something to do. We're getting kind of bored. And so he went and he saved the seats for us, and we went and we all, just watched the show, had a good time, ate or whatever, and went home. And then a couple days later in the morning, we get up and we found out that guy OD'd of fentanyl and he died. And so it was like, I've actually, through 8 years of using, I've never known anybody that's died. And so it was like, holy shit. Like, I was just with this guy the other night. And I even remember at one point he was like on his phone, like by himself. And like, I had the thought to like go up to him and talk to him, because I know like how it feels to be like alone and just be on your phone. And not that I like think, oh, I could have saved this guy's life or anything. Shit's gonna happen if it's gonna happen, but you never know what little interaction could change the course of somebody's life. So, anybody could have done anything at any point, but that's just the way it works out. And so now they're like dealing with his funeral, all that shit. And so it's like, this is like fucking scared straight for me, like where they send the kids into the jail and the guys are like yelling at them like, we had like a bed bug scare, dude. Like this freaking thing was for me scratching it. Like I never had sores and stuff when I was using. Now I feel like I look like a fucking crackhead. No, not that sorry, that's like using it as an insult. That's not nice. But yeah, just the bed bug thing, and then I flipped out over that. Like went to the doctor and got in an argument with him. You know when your doctor needs to take a smoke break because the shit you just laid on him, like, wow, that must be, he was like, I haven't in like 3 years needed to take a break away from somebody, but you were really good, because we were arguing over something. I was trying to call him to tell him about the bed bugs, and I felt like he was ignoring me. And then iPhones, the way they work with delivery and read receipts and turning your phone off, kind of, it doesn't do that. I was trying to explain that to him because it seemed like he turned his phone off on me, and he took it personally, but we got over it and we made amends. And then he put us up in a hotel room and bought us pizza while they sprayed the house, and so the bed bugs are gone. But it's been eye-opening. It's definitely, I'm out of my element, and it's where I needed to go. It's good that, I mean, there were a couple days where I was upset and depressed, but when it's all said and done, I'm like, this is real life and this is reality, and it's what I need to experience. Like, it's good to feel comfortable in recovery, but it's also good to feel uncomfortable, because you need to remember that, like, you put yourself here, and these are, I mean, there's always going to be lingering consequences. But for the most part, I mean, everything's great, and I feel great. I have tons of energy, happy, talking to family every day, keeping in contact with people, building relationships again, trying, meeting new people, and also the house being very eclectic of personalities. There's a lot of younger kids that are 18, 19 years old that were doing fentanyl. And I mean, it's crazy, because, I mean, luckily they're getting clean, or I don't know who's, that's the other thing, is you don't know who's lying or but these kids are getting tested by the courts. So I really would hope they're staying clean so they don't go back to jail. But there's gang members, there's, people fresh out of jail, and everybody's really respectful to each other and cool for the most part. Keep the house clean and everything.
It's a struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a good struggle now at this point. I got through the bad struggle.
Tell me about Suboxone.
Suboxone?
So your cravings are gone.
Yeah, but other people still apparently have them. I'm just, they also say probably because I was smoking and I wasn't injecting, like that's a big deal, and that it's a lot easier for me. But I just take 8 milligram strip a day. I put it under my tongue, and I don't feel any different, really. I mean, there was a time where I accidentally went 30 hours without it, and you're supposed to take it every 24, and I didn't start feeling anything. It has a longer, I guess, I don't know if it's half-life, if that's a term, but it takes you longer to start feeling like crap. But I've heard it's also worse withdrawals if you stop it completely. So that's why I would like to get off of it, because, I mean, I know somebody that's only taking 1 milligram a day. So, I mean, you can go very low, but it's just, I wouldn't mind being on it, but it's just the mental thing of feeling like you're addicted to something, So that's why that shot seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I've said this before, but it still kind of hits home every time with me. The belief that you deserve a better life is key.
Totally.
And so many of these people that you see on my channel, they don't believe they deserve a better life than what you're seeing.
Right.
And even if they were given everything on a silver platter, everything they need, housing, job, education, therapy, everything, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
Right. And doing this now, I've thought
whereas you seem to be able to move forward and take this ball and run with it.
Right. Which I'm sure there's tons of people that are going to watch this and be like, this dude is going to fuck up in a month or something. Which great. Go ahead. Think that.
Every single video on my channel.
I'll prove him wrong. And if somehow, which I'm not so naive that I'm like, it's 100%, there's that little chance that something bad happens, then damn, man, I really hope that I that's not even in my mind. That's crazy.
You're not sitting here telling us that you are cured and everything's fine.
No, because recovery is a continuing process. You never get over it. You don't graduate. It's for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a struggle.
Yeah, and so I've been content just working these random jobs like Trader Joe's, lifeguard, warehouse jobs, delivery jobs, sales jobs, just here and there. And now that I've been, here and getting sober and stuff, I'm like, well, I would really like to do something to help people, in recovery after I get, through with this. And even if that's, something that I find out that I don't really want to do if I get into it. I don't know what it is. Something has inspired me. Like, I was watching something on the news, which I never watch the news. It was just on, and it was called Coast to Coast, something about going over the border wall. And these two reporters drove from Florida to California, and they went on both sides of the border and interviewed people. And I just like never realized like how bad like people have it in certain parts of Mexico, and like it's just doesn't seem very fair to like keep them out. I mean, I understand both sides, but man, some people are like just facing death and extortion and stuff, which I kind of knew about cartels and everything, but it's just some people struggle so hard, and then they go through this long journey risking their lives to get here just to have a better life for them and their children, or and so I don't know. I'd love to get into some type of immigration law type field or something. I don't know. I'm 35 years old, so.
You're still young. You're still young.
I know. We'll see. I mean, there's tons of opportunities now, and like life's, open playing field, because I have the heroin out of my system, and that was just bringing me down and suppressing me, which, like I said, I thought it was making me better.
You seem much more positive, and your energy.
Even you said, you're like, well, if it makes you better. And then everybody was like, oh, why do you say that?
What did I say?
In the first interview, you were like, well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, like, then maybe I'm not promoting heroin, but because I was so, I don't know if it was like I was so high or just such a good mood, or I wanted to seem like that to the world, I wasn't like thinking about it that hard.
I read through that, but I try not to judge in these interviews, and I also try to be devil's advocate.
Right.
Like if a pimp is telling me that whatever, I'm going to be like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yes. That's
just to kind of let him do his thing.
And that's like, even you've said, like, ignore the mean comments, like ignore the bad stuff. I like to play devil's advocate to myself. So I like to absorb, like they say, keep your enemies closer than your friends. Like, even though they're saying something negative, except the people that are like, fuck him, he's a douchebag. I don't think about that twice. But people that have like some type of valid point, like I understand they're a person too with their own viewpoints and their own unique opinion. And so I would be stupid not to think of that and at least think, why do they feel this way about me? And it's not even, can I change to appease them? It's like, maybe I have flaws, or maybe there's other ways of thinking. And so there's actually been a couple times that I've responded to people like that, and we talk, and then at the end, they're like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry I said that. And I'm like, it's cool, I understand. And then like...
Yeah, sometimes they just want to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Engage in the conversation. And I've seen people turn around as well. But
that's cool, yeah.
I find it just depresses me if I get engaged in comments.
Then other people, they just won't stop. They're just so hard-headed, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you met this anonymous angel that's on my channel. I know her very well.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for, giving me the opportunity, and thank you to her for helping me out. But it's great, man. And I hope keep going on the right path.
I hope you take this ball and run with it.
For sure.
You deserve it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matthew.